The long due project of SS Rajamouli's titled RRR, short for Rise, Roar, Revolt, is finally released after a wait of 5 years which went on and off due to COVID-19. Before I start to talk about RRR in its whole aspect, I think I really should put a spotlight on the fact that whether it is sensible to compare RRR with the epic of Bahubali duology. Because I can see the attention-seeking headlines and even a few of the audience themselves are calling RRR a fail as it doesn't matches the heroism and epic representation of Bahubali. So first of all, why this comparison is there? It seems like that both the movies of Rajamouli features the ambience of historical period dramas. However, the major difference between both is that while the one is an epic war drama featuring the thrones and king, almost a fantasy setting, the other one, RRR, is an epic period drama based on real-life revolutionaries from 1920s of India during colonial period. On that note, I personally don't think that it is fair or sensible enough to compare both the movies with each other, as both the movies holds different potential and genre, though seeming like a little similar, I know. Still, one thing I will agree on, contradicting my earlier set point to not compare, that considering the storyline of Bahubali as whole, the storyline and concept of RRR is quite simple. You don't expect much detailing and layers in the storyline as it almost gets predictable as to what will happen at the end. Totally opposite to what SS Rajamouli bring a nationwide and meme-worthy suspense about why Katappa killed Bahubali. There are just so many things that I liked in the RRR movie, especially experiencing it in the IMAX screen, experiencing any of Rajamouli's work in that format for the first time. Although I will blame the movie theater for the poor grainy quality of screens, so no criticism on movie for that obviously. I will also be giving a brief introduction to the history of real life characters of RRR, but will make a separate video on giving a short brief on it and factual information. RRR features two different real-life revolutionaries during the British Raj in India during colonial period from the 1920s. Charan Teja plays the role of Alluri Sitaram Raju and Junior NTR plays the role of Komaram Bhim. The movie is imaginatively based on the lives of both the revolutionaries and portray both the leaders in a close friendship sharing comradeship brotherhood. The most interesting and attention-worthy part of the movie was the pre-climax sequence when both the actors are fighting with the colonials and Charan Teja appears in the true form of Alluri Sitaram Raju, almost seeming like giving a homage to the leader. SS Rajamouli's action-packed drama features an ensemble cast including Charan Teja, NT Rama Rao Jr. aka Junior NTR in the main lead roles, with extended cameo appearances of Ajay Devgan and Alia Bhatt, alongside talents of a few such as Alison Doody, Ray Stevenson, Olivia Morris, and Shreya Saran playing a cameo role opposite to Ajay Devgan. While I usually like to talk about the noteworthy and compelling performances of actors or actresses other than the main leads, this time I have to include Junior NTR in my list of fabulous performances alongside the child actor Varun Buddhadev, who played the younger version of Ramcharan's character. Varun Buddhadev plays the role of Alluri's imaginative childhood with such grace yet intensity. I was in awe with his performance. Junior NTR, who symbolizes water in opposite or contrast to Charan Teja's fire, was too good in his performance. I have watched a very few movies of Junior NTR, almost so little and so long back in my childhood that I don't even remember any of his movies or performances. But as I could observe among all other artists in front of the camera, it was Junior NTR who captured my heart with his simply sweet, innocent yet fierce portrayal of a fictionalized version of revolutionary leader Komaram Bhim. I really love the bromance chemistry between Charan Teja and Junior NTR. Both of them really shined for me, and the way they encapsulated a feeling of true friendship for each other was truly heartwarming. On a side note, I believe action choreography of RRR deserves a special mention, as unlike the utter disappointment of people at this scene of Bahubali the conclusion, RRR have amazing action sequences choreographed well, especially in terms of setting up the synchronization between Charan Teja and Junior NTR fighting colonial side by side. Nick Powell as the stunt and action director has done a marvelous job in choreographing the action sequences of the climax. Their bromance flourished in the well choreographed action sequences. Sabo once again worked meticulously and diligently in the production design of RRR after Bahubali. Another special mention to Rama Rajamouli, the wife of SS Rajamouli, for her brilliant work on costume designs. She deserves it. Cinematography was really beautiful too. Movie's pace is good considering the total runtime of 3 hours because it keeps you grappling with the frequent changes in the sequences following the storyline, eye-catching visual elements, and of course, as always, the epic and soulful soundtracks. I will have to say, since coming across the amazing soundtrack of Bahubali The Beginning, released in 2015, followed by Bahubali The Conclusion, released in 2017, I have developed immense faith in the music of Rajamouli's films. RRR doesn't fail to create a soulful and emotional ambience in the theatre, while the majority of the scores composed to give an epic feeling. Hats off to music composer Keeravani for his brilliant work once again with yet another collaboration with SS Rajamouli in RRR after Bahubali duology to provide an epic and equally emotional feel to the movie and putting a cherry on the cake. The final song playing alongside rolling credits was Sholay that paid tributes to our Indian freedom fighters from all backgrounds, which was truly beautiful. While music of the film was the major highlight for me, the film falters on its editing. There were unreasonable fade to dark transitions and abrupt cuts, or maybe just one. Cinematic shots such as panning of the camera exiting the subject could be used rather than old school fade to dark. Please keep that in mind. I'm not talking about the work on VFX, which is by the way brilliantly done by the various efforts of VFX companies such as Frame Store and Moving Picture Company, with Indian companies as well like Moguta VFX, NY VFX Wala, along with the Academy Award winner VFX company named Rhythm and Hue Studio for its work on Irfan Khan's starrer Life of Pi. Talking about that, since I choose to watch the movie in IMAX 3D format, the question arises whether the movie has what I would like to call them as as we saw in the trailer, the epic scenes such as NTR roaring back at a tiger or arrow pulled out from the bow are among those majority of the IMAX worthy moments that are already in the movie. The arrow is really overutilized in the movie, by the way. At least it could have been shown in some different style. Maybe? Archers, please take the cue if you watch the movie. However, there is one sequence in the movie that is not in the trailer which features, spoiler alert, the grand entry of almost every kind of animal from Animal Kingdom. Not birds, by the way. Sorry, prey hunters of the sky. In a full action-packed CGI moment which feels worthy of an IMAX-worthy moments. Mentioning this, I think I have come across yet another question out of curiosity to find logic in a commercial Telugu language action movie, which is, where did all the animals go at the end? And why they were only attacking male colonials whether they were firing the rifles or not, and not anyone else in the crowd? I will move ahead from this now. RRR is a worthy of your fun weekend time to experience it on the big screens, and definitely in the IMAX 3D format. Another reason I went to watch RRR specifically in IMAX 3D format, as I rarely come across movies made on Indian grounds which showcases efforts to use advanced technologies to make the experience of watching the movie more immersive and entertaining. So I like to support our fellow creators who spends a lot on these technologies only to give audience the feel. While I totally agree that 2100 of movies tickets seems too out of line, but I assure you it can also be bought under 600 only. I paid a total of 589.72 only. Quite specific. That's all from my side on the review and commentary on the newly released action-packed period drama of Bahubali fame director SS Rajamouli, starrer Rama, Charan Teja and Junior NTR. Please do let me know what you liked about the movie or what you are expecting from the movie if you haven't watched it yet. Consider liking, sharing and subscribing if you liked my video, and especially you are new to my channel. I will see you in the next one. Peace out.